Okay. All right. Welcome, everybody. We are live once again with the most depressing podcast on the internet. Just going to wait a couple of seconds here for some people to pop in so that we don't get started before there's anybody even listening in. And then I'll drag the guest in and we'll begin talking about this this video. I did leave the link in the description and in the side chat there, but it's a rather long video. It's like, I think it's like 16 minutes if I remember correctly. I was considering having it play in the show, but the fact that it's 16 minutes long, it's a little bit of a slog to have for an intro. But it doesn't really matter. You don't have to have seen the video to really understand what we're talking about if you've seen mine. I'm going to bring up, exact quotes pretty much that were in his video, so you'll understand. You won't be really missing any context. Hey, how's it going? Good to see you guys here. I hope that there were enough alerts. I did set it pretty early in advance. That may have been a mistake, but I thought that doing so would give us time, for people to know that it was coming. Because usually what I do is I spring a stream on everybody and nobody knows what's going on. It's just out of nowhere. Maybe next time I'll do 1 day in advance, or like 12 hours in advance. Something to that effect. But anyway, we have some of the audience, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to drag our guest in, and we'll see what's going on. If Discord will allow for it. Game Philosopher.
What's up?
Hey, welcome to the stream.
Thank you for having me on.
Let me try to raise your audio a little bit because you're coming in a little bit low. And also, do you happen to have maybe headphones or something? Because I do hear some echo. He hopped out. Maybe he's fixing his audio. I'm gonna have to drag him back in though, and I don't know if he realizes he can't come back in. Oh boy, don't you love it? All right, I'm going to try to pull him in again. Let's see what happens. Here we go. Okay, you back? No, he's not back. All right, I'm going to have him... Okay, well, let's see what's going on. We'll see. I got to give him a couple more minutes, I guess. I thought we were ready, but... Oh boy, technical difficulties. Everybody loves that. So what's going on, chat? I figured I better switch to live chat. Wow, I can't believe a live chat brings in so many more comments. YouTube is just censorship haven. Sounds like it cut out. No, he's messaging me right now. No, there was echo. Sorry for the typing noise there, but we'll see what's going on. New Funko Pop. Oh boy, Funko Pops. Yeah, I heard about that cam girl thing. That was a story. I mean, whatever he wants to do, but that was a story I could have lived without hearing. Boogie2988. Hey, another clone. Welcome. Yeah, we're waiting on the guest here to get his technical difficulties sorted out. He didn't listen to enough Jordan Peterson, so... He says he's going to try to grab headphones. I told him to make it quick because we are on airtime. What do I look like? A waiter? Insert your Final Fantasy VI jokes for you video game fans out there that will get the reference. We must secure the existence of our Funko Pops and a future for plastic figurines. Do you actually like Funko Pops, or are you just mocking them? I ask because I am not at all a fan of those things. I feel like they are the most lifeless, soulless versions of figures you can get. What did he forget to wash? I don't know. Apparently he forgot headphones. I don't have any headphones myself, so... that's something I need to fix as well, but I had a pair. I had a pretty good pair, and they broke. That is something I do every day. That's very important. Personal hygiene, folks. I'm mocking. I figured. I just thought I would check. Because some people really love those things, and I don't quite get it. Oh no, the flap. Please don't make me relive that horror. A damaged woman. Nice. Alright, so... I don't know what's going on with this dude. In a minute, I'm going to start watching his video and reply to that. Apologies, folks. I did tell him 15 minutes in advance. He was in there talking as though he was ready, so... what can you do? We must build a shrine of Funko Pops. Imagine how much money you would waste doing something like that. Nothing artistic or creative about them. No, I hate that there's like a, you know, like a template. The only good Funko figures that I've ever seen are the Cuphead ones, because... and I'm not talking about the cheaper ones. There's ones out there that cost, I think they're like $10 to $12 a piece. They actually look exactly like the characters. Those are the only good ones I've ever seen. They don't have the lifeless eyes. They actually have the characters, you know, proper eyes and look to them. So I would buy those. Those are the only ones I would ever buy, or at least consider buying. I see Keenan has caught on to the lingo there. Shouldn't expect much. Oh boy, this is gonna be... all right, let's try again, he says. So I'm bringing him in. Let's see what's going on. All right, you are on air again. Although I can't hear you at all if you're speaking. Your call volume is 100%. You have some kind of mute on your headphones or whatever. And he left again. Oh my gosh. All right. I guess you guys are really, really getting the hype built up here. How could a Boogie fan come here to take a side? Isn't taking a side an anti-Boogie move? Well, see, what happens is you take a position, but then after you get backlash for it, you apologize and backpedal into the center. So true. It is. It's entertaining, to say the least. I don't know if you guys have looked at my video lately, but the comment section is a hilarious dumpster fire. Excuse me. I just don't believe the lengths that people will go to defend e-celebrities. And, you know, I'm fine with a person having an actual disagreement with something I've stated specifically, but if you go through that comment section, there are so many misrepresentations, so many assumptions, so many you just want views attempts at arguments. It's insane to me. So I dealt with the comments a little bit here and there. Solvis, thank you for the $2. He says kick V. V hasn't even showed up. I can't kick him yet. But if he does, his ass is out of here just because of your $2. Appreciate that. I'm gonna try again. You there? No? Okay. I agree with Solvis. Boogie2988 did nothing wrong. Ask the Boogie fan about Boogie getting cocked. Is there actually, like, proof of that? I mean, I know there was that photo, but supposedly that's a gay man. I don't know if I buy that, to be honest. But that's the word on the street. Have you heard the song Me, an Intellectual Making Fun of Centrism? I believe I have. That sounds really familiar. Is it the Song a Day guy? Or is that someone else? I might be thinking of somebody else. Always kick V. You know, I'm not even sure he's aware of my existence, so I don't think we even have to worry about that. Boogie just wants the fence riding views. Got to keep that fence slap buried deep to heal the pain of being cucked. Oh, jeez. Well, you know, I don't want to get into it too much because I'm trying to discuss this with the guest, but I think he just has a big problem of caring way too much about the opinions of random strangers on the internet that are never going to like him anyway. It just doesn't make sense to me. The only thing I can understand is that when you have a following that large, obviously the influx of comments must be massive. I mean, I've seen small degrees of that here and there when I've had a video kind of hit it a little bit bigger than what I usually average. But, you know, the go-to is just stop reading. Stop going to the comment section. It's not that big of a deal. It seems like social media popularity really exacerbates mental health issues. If all else fails, go ahead and deconstruct my video and send the link. I'll do a reply. If I do hope this works. Got the adapter, headphones on. Okay, so can you help? Okay, I guess Makitin is in the chat here trying to help him out to get on. I've got backup here. We're going to get him on. We're going to do it eventually. If not, he says, I'm just going to go. I guess I'm going to go ahead and just reply to his video. Try to move you to the chat. Oh, yeah. Okay. So, yeah, he's trying to move him over, but he keeps disconnecting. And also, what's with the mute symbol on his headphones? Is that going to be a problem? I don't really understand why that's there as well. How do I be a guest on your show? It sounds like a lot of fun. Usually, I try to get people opposed to whatever point it is that, you know, I'm on the side of, because circle jerk streams tend to be not as interesting. I don't mind having them once in a while, you know, where somebody just wants to come on and talk about something. It doesn't always have to be an adversarial situation. I mean, I don't even know how this is going to turn out, honestly, because this is one of those situations where I feel like the dude came in, you know, guns kind of blazing in the beginning, and then it sort of calmed down towards the end. And now it just seems like completely friendly, but I don't know. We'll see. I mean, what would you want to discuss? If you can bring a topic, you know, that's, I don't really mind having most people on. Even if somebody's just trying to troll, whatever, we'll deal with them. There was another guy that Scrubby Steiner Boogie News can't. What's your opinion about Boogie on the H3 podcast? Oh, so you mean the garbage fire that started the whole mental health decline? I don't think he said anything wrong. I don't think it's an issue at all. Apologize for the dog's bark. Sorry about that, guys. Dog barking. Wanted to make him quieter, but apparently he's not listening. Anyway. So, yeah, he didn't say anything wrong on that podcast. I think that is actually the most honest that we've seen him. And I don't, you know, whether you agree or disagree with what he said, I think that's a good thing. I'm tired of people that are just fake and, you know, say what gets them the, you know, the safe reaction, I guess. Audio fucked up. I don't know. Is it better now? Oh, you in? Well, he was in before for a sec, and it worked. I'm going to pull him in myself. Are you here? No. Just like auto disconnects. I don't know why he gets kicked out. Kick dog, not V. Not a bad idea. He says it keeps disconnecting him at random. So I think... I guess we're just gonna have to. I guess we're just gonna have to move forward and go on without him. I mean, it sucks. He's here, ready to go on. I don't know what else to do for the guy. I could try to open a Hangout link, maybe, but that just, I don't know. Maybe I'll try Google Hangouts. I have to figure out how to start a Hangout though. Oh my gosh. Maybe I have to give him some sort of permission? No, anybody should be, as if I pull somebody in, they should be able to come in. But let me just do something real quick, just to see if that's the problem. Are you in? I hear you. I hear something. No, now he's out. I feel like this is on purpose. All right, I'm gonna open up a Hangout, guys. Sorry, this is not working well at all, but let's see if this alternative will work. I don't know what else to do. I just have to figure out how to do it. I usually don't do these. I don't know if the microphone is picking that up. We even have some birds chirping in the background. No, this is not it. Is he fucking with you? I don't think so. He seemed like he was genuine. All right, I'm getting the Hangout opened up. He was muted, so it's not the mic. Can you ask him if he has a Gmail account or something so that I can invite him to a Hangout? Oh no, maybe I can just send him an invite in the chat. Sorry. All right. All right. So we got that. Hopefully that's not popping up on the screen because then it will be captured. So unfortunately, I'm just gonna have to try to do that. Makitan, if you would prefer to join the Google Hangout, that's fine. So I'm gonna mute myself on Discord, which should still allow for the audio to come through. I'm muted on Discord, so tell me if you can still hear me on the stream itself. Should work. I just don't want to have like multiple sources picking up my microphone. Hey, you here? I'm muted. Hey. I don't think I'm muted now. Well, I see you in the Hangout, but I don't hear you. So I'm giving this a couple more minutes, okay? And then I'm just going to go ahead and respond to the video, I guess, because we got a show to do. I got 75 people that are looking to... Nobody can hear me? What is going on? All right, are you guys messing with me now? How about now? All right. Well, I tried. I did everything I could to bring you in, but it didn't work out. So I guess we're just going to have to go ahead and watch the video and do it that way. Perhaps better luck next time. Yeah, I don't know. Because I'm getting absolutely nothing. All right, so I guess I'm closing the Hangout window, and I'm just gonna do Discord. Apologize for the delay. Just came here to find out how to beat Chrono Trigger. You need some help with that? I can help you out with that. Okay. Anyway, we're gonna go to the video. So let me see if this is showing up correctly. Yes. All right. I'm going to play it, of course, and then we're going to, you know, I'll stop at various points where I have something to reply to. There are a couple of points where there are some tangents that feel a bit unrelated, but we'll get to that. So let's see what's going on, guys. Let me see if I can do this without screwing things up completely, because I'd like to still see the chat. Yeah, all right. Okay. I can still see it, so we're good. All right, anyway, here we go.
This is the Game Philosopher. Thank you for watching this video. So, one of the things I've been doing a lot lately was being on a trip, but now I'm back, as you can tell by the usual surrounding. And during my trip, there's this confrontation I had with a video or a channel called Scratch Point, and I'll link the video I'm referring to in the description. But the whole entire video was an attack on Boogie2988, who's one.
So, right off the bat, we are framing the video as an attack. Which, you know, I feel like I could have been much more harsh than I actually was. But we'll continue on.
One of my heroes on YouTube. He and Philip DeFranco have a huge influence on me and how I do things. Unfortunately, this person wanted to talk about Boogie2988 and call him a emotional manipulator. And then he goes and he takes evidence for, or so-called evidence from the Backlash to the H3 podcast.
All right, so listen. So-called evidence, you heard that, right? Can someone explain to me how it is that video, an actual video, is so-called evidence and not evidence? I mean, I'm using his own words, Boogie's own words. How do you get any more evidence than that?
And I think really some of the issue here is that he doesn't really understand the purpose of the Boogie2988 channel. Now, for those of you who do not know, probably such as Scratch Point, Boogie2988 is a channel for comedy and gaming. He also does lots of weight loss updates, and he also talks a lot about mental health because, you know, he was a victim of abuse as a child.
Okay, all those things are fine. What is the problem with, you know, I never said anything about that. None of that was in my video. To say I don't understand the point of his channel, it doesn't really make sense, because what does that have to do with the argument that I put forward? So let's see. Chat is saying, why even reply to this guy? He's 15 subs. I just thought that we could make a stream out of it, and the guy actually seemed to want to talk, so, you know, Why not? I haven't done a stream in a while. That's really all it is at this point, is the entertainment factor. You know, I thought that maybe maybe we could come to some sort of understanding, and I could demonstrate that this is ridiculous.
And you can all look at the videos which he talks about it by going to his channel, which I will also link in the description. And his primary purpose really is to talk about gaming, to have gaming news, to
I understand
have funny
that.
little sketches using his characters, such as Jesse, which is this redneck from Texarkana, and Francis, who is pretty much, as he describes, how he used to be before he grew up. And with this history of abuse, he also has a lot of issues that a lot of people have when they put themselves up there on the internet, which is cyber harassment.
Okay, but people that have been abused aren't the only ones that have to deal with the so-called cyber harassment, which, by the way, is an absurd concept. I mean, think about it. We have all of the tools necessary to block people out that we don't want to talk to or engage with online, and yet people still complain about cyber harassment. Now look, if it gets to the point where somebody tracks down your address and, you know, your phone number and all that stuff, that's when it leaks into real life, and that's when you could pursue legal action. But this whole idea of cyber harassment, just because somebody said something that you don't like or that hurt your feelings, is a little bit ridiculous.
And consistent attacks from people despite knowing his mental illness or health issues. The accusation by Scratchpoint was that Boogie2988 hides behind mental health issues to shield from criticisms, and in doing so he is an emotional manipulator, as demonstrated by the recent Twitch streams and Twitter posts, which demonstrates that he uses controversial opinions, then hides behind his mental health issues to get people on his side, and hides behind centrism because he is fearful of taking a side.
Okay, so that is sort of this weird Frankenstein of a patchwork of words that may or may not have been in my video, and they're all constructed together to form an argument that I didn't make. Now, I didn't say that he uses controversial opinions to hide and then hides behind mental health. I'm saying what he does is he expresses what appears to be an honest opinion that is a little bit more hardline than he usually shares. Then, when people, you know, flip out on him, or he feels that he's getting a lot of backlash, he'll claim he's, you know, oh, when I said that, I was disassociating. I didn't know what I was saying, and now because of all these things, you know, my mental health issues are flaring up and I'm feeling suicidal. Being afraid to take a side, that's somewhat true, because, as I said, whenever he seems to share a genuine opinion, people don't like it. People get mad at him, and then he backtracks on it.
Now, what I'm going to talk about right here is that
Zilorian, there was actually another guy too, who I'm more than willing to have on, but he hasn't replied to, you know, my my message. I was more than willing to have both of them on at the same time. And look, to be fair, before this video came out, I was talking to him in the comment section of my video, so I really had no idea at first. I mean, yeah, you could say, well, okay, you could just back out after that, but, you know, I'm not really necessarily here to pick on the guy or anything.
my opinion is that Boogie2988 is a man who has a lot of internet fame, and with that, a lot of chaos erupts. Unfortunately, he's also a man who has had a lot of bad things in his life that happened, and he does not wish other people to suffer because of him. Unlike Sketchpoint's opinion, I take into account that and feel that it's best to realize that he could not be an emotional manipulator because he wishes that other people are not harmed by him.
Okay, so I did take his mental health issues into account. My point was that just because a person has mental health issues, it doesn't mean that they can't be manipulative. It doesn't mean that they can't do things that are damaging. In fact, sometimes they do things that are damaging because they have a history of abuse and therefore end up becoming like their abuser. I mean, that's pretty common. That's like when, you know, there's physical abuse in families, it tends to carry on. And to say that just because he wishes people aren't harmed by him, which whether or not, you know, you believe that's true, just because you wish something doesn't mean that that's the outcome. You could be harming somebody either way.
Now, of course, with my talk about it, the accusation by Sketchpoint, of course, he did not say what I said word for word, and he might say that I was taking his point out of context or whatever. But if you watch this video, that's exactly what he was saying, and he does somewhat acknowledge that there might be a possibility that Boogie2988 might legitimately have issues, but it's not the fact that, you know, he has the issues. It's more that Sketchpoint doesn't realize the fact that it's not really a possibility. It's literally what's going on.
Okay, so my question here is, you know, if you say, well, oh, he might accuse me of taking him out of context. No, what I'm going to say is, you know, it's a straight up misquote. And I would say that, you know, for future video making advice, if you're going to quote someone, just take the time to listen back to the video that you want to reply to, write it down, and then reply to the quote as it actually was. You know, that way you don't have to worry that somebody is, you know, going to accuse you of misrepresenting them. And the other point here is actually a misrepresentation of what I said. So again, it would have helped to listen back to the video. I didn't say it's a possibility that he legitimately has issues. I know he legitimately has issues. There's no way that that's a well man. My point was that people kind of excuse his behavior because he has those issues. He kind of makes excuses for himself because he has those issues. Not that I'm questioning whether or not he has mental health problems. I mean, it's very clear that he does. I'm going to check on chat for a sec here. Boogie isn't helping guys like this. He's pampering him. I mean, I feel like we're going to get into it a little bit later, but I feel like his audience, Boogie's audience, is enabling him, you know, to be the way he is. Still responsible for his mental illness and how his mental illness affects others, even if the mental illness affects him too. Yeah, very true. You can't, you know, you can't hide behind that forever. By the way, I'm not defending Boogie. I think you're right in defending this poor guy. Look, I understand. You know, I'm not claiming you're doing anything of the sort. I just thought that he wanted to talk. I'd, you know, give him the opportunity to talk. Unfortunately, the tech issues prevented that from happening, and now, as a result, this is all I've got left for the show. So I didn't want to just come on here and, like, cancel the stream, you know? It's... Look, guys, if you do... Let me just put this out there, okay? if you happen to, go to his channel or anything like that, don't do anything crazy. Don't say anything out there. Don't do like a mass downvote or anything. I'm not accusing anyone of doing that. I just want to put that disclaimer out there for myself, because you know how easy it is to get accused of these so-called harassment campaigns. This is just going to be, for us.
Now, for this, I would have to say that the statement about Boogie2988 made on Scratchpoint's channel is completely false, because the whole entire meaning of the channel is not a debate channel. He's a Boogie2988 is a channel where it's a gamer who's trying to deal with his life issues, and then he's trying to entertain people at the same time. He's trying to have fun, and he's not at all really seeming to be a emotionally manipulative type. He does not take sides in debate, and he's very much entitled to his opinions. And
okay, I absolutely agree that he's not, that he's entitled to his own opinions. In fact, I think he should share his genuine opinions more. So, I just don't think that it's, where I want someone to show me like where I made the claim that he shouldn't share his opinions. In fact, later on, I will show you some evidence, and maybe we'll call it so-called evidence, since apparently, video and screenshot isn't enough, where I say that he's entitled to his opinions. There are a lot of mentions of, the abuse, the cyber harassment. Now, my point here is, does that absolve you from being criticized? I mean, I could easily point to a serious trauma in my own life. Can you still criticize me? Because you did. I mean, a lot of people did. But I didn't sit there and say, well, this bad thing happened to me at one point in my life, therefore anything you say to me is just you being mean. That's not how this works. I mean, look, guys, let's get a vote, okay? So what I've done, because I thought I was actually going to be talking to him, I marked down some timestamps in the video itself and, wrote some quotes that I wanted to read back to him and then kind of give my take on what that was. If you don't want me to continue playing the video, we won't do that, since there's still like 11 minutes left. And instead, what I'll do is I can read you guys the quotes and I can respond to the quotes. But I guess we'll leave it up to the chat room to decide which one you want to do. Do you want me to watch the video, or do you want me to just go ahead and read the quotes off and reply to those? I'll give you all a second to make up your minds. Boogie's opinions are about as spicy as Taco Bell's mild sauce. Nice. That's a good one. I like that. Either way is okay. All right, because I saw some people saying that, stop watching, or, well, not necessarily stop watching, but that it was hard to listen to. I think the problem here, because he types his comments out just fine and seems to be kind of verbose in the comments, if you will. So I think this is just a matter of not being used to talking to the camera, not, having proper preparation. Okay, watch the video, think context will be lost. All right, we're going to continue the video then. It's just that there are some tangents that don't really cover anything. Here we go.
Now, if you go to Twitter or you go to Facebook, you'll notice that a lot of people have their opinions they put down. And a lot of times they block people for disagreeing with them because, they're just blowing off steam sometimes on issues that might be going on in society. Now, Boogie2988 did that with his Twitter, in response to some of the things or allegations by the H3 podcast or by people who were watching it.
Yeah, SPF. I agree with you. I don't think anybody's being, you know, going too far or anything. Jokes are fine. You know, I'm not against that, obviously.
Or the issue was that they thought he wasn't strong enough on the issue of homosexual rights and.
Okay, but see, this is why I thought this was a bit of a tangent, because my video didn't touch on that. I just mentioned that he was upset due to the backlash to the H3 podcast. I didn't give my opinion on what I thought of that. What I thought of that, I said earlier, I don't think he said anything wrong. I think it's his opinion. I think he's entitled to have his opinion, whether you agree or disagree with it. And I think the outrage over it is overblown.
Pretty much, Boogie actually was on their side, but at the same time, he was not really as extreme. He did not think that there should be extreme and, sometimes violent change. He thinks that it should happen over and over time, so that no one gets hurt or killed through this effort towards change. And
so basically what his point was is that radical social change can lead to radical backlash, and you know, there's a point to be made there.
I think that
hey,
it's
Bone Zone, I see you there. Welcome.
An admirable position, but I'm not going to talk too much on it. Although I think that what had happened was that this person who responded, she tried to, I think it was a she. She tried to attack him and coerce him into being more extreme towards her side, to try to condemn him for having an opinion of his own. And this type of stuff happens a lot these days, because a lot of times people don't really have the education of elegance or rhetoric or even logic that they would find it better to attack people than gaining their goodwill and getting them to trust them, and in that way say their opinion and increase the likelihood that the person might consider that opinion and might go towards that opinion.
Basically, he's advocating that when people share opinions, they are, you know, kind to each other, approach each other in a respectful manner. You know, there's something to be said for that, of course. The issue is when somebody else is unwilling to do that for you in return, or somebody doesn't approach you in good faith. At that point, the whole, you know, logic thing kind of goes out the window, because the person you're talking to isn't giving you any to start an argument from. They're just kind of out for blood.
But of course, people are too impatient for that type of respect. And I think really that going back to the idea that Boogie2988 was a victim of abuse as a child, and he deals with a certain amount of cyber harassment, as is the case with that one post that takes one thing out of context in the H3 podcast. I think that really, it shows that people really need to grow up and realize that, yes, Boogie288 or 2988 might be a little weak. He's not an emotional manipulator, but since he's a little weak...
I'm probably going to end up touching more on this later, but okay, just because you're weak, just because you don't intend to be. Let's even give him the benefit of the doubt, which I mentioned as a possibility in the video. Even if we give him the benefit of the doubt, some of the behavior that he puts off is manipulative. I don't know why I'm tripping on that all of a sudden. Maybe there is a good reason, but we'll leave it. We'll leave it to you to guess why. Even if he is manipulative or putting off behaviors that can be inferred as such, maybe he's not. You know, maybe he doesn't realize it. Maybe he's not cognizant of the fact that that's what he's doing. But that doesn't mean he isn't doing it.
And no offense, Boogie, if you're watching. I'm just trying to allow people to realize your position or your the area that you're in. that people will try to attack you, or if you're weak, and they kind of get off on it, especially if you are someone who has a lot of following, such as Boogie2988 does. And since he has, now I'm going to go to the next point, that since he has such a following, he has really no reason to emotionally manipulate, because the emotional manipulation would really not do anything to further his channel or put his shit behind. And in fact, it actually might hurt him a little bit, because people would get tired of it and leave him. But since he's very sincere, that's not really the case.
Okay, so let me just kind of take a look here. Since he has such a following, he has really no reason to emotionally manipulate, because emotional manipulation wouldn't do anything to further his channel. It might hurt him, since people get tired of him and leave, but since he's sincere, that's not the case. All right. So I went to Boogie's channel. I went to his latest video about him killing his own channel, and I left a rather lengthy comment. Unfortunately, I guess I'm going to have to take a break here so I can read it to you guys, because I want you to see what the fan reaction was to the comment, and it kind of makes my point for me here in response to what he just claimed. And to say that, oh, he wouldn't emotionally manipulate just because he doesn't need to, well, that's not entirely true. He's claiming he's in a mentally unstable position. He's claiming he's hurt. So using that card of I'm going to commit suicide is a way to get people to, at least in his mind, is a way to get people to get off his back. So let me read the comment that I left on Boogie's channel. Given how many comments you receive, it's a bit of a long shot that you'll see this, but I'll try anyway. This is a repeat pattern of behavior for you. You share your opinions on some topic, people react poorly, you backtrack and apologize, throwing in terms like disassociating, and then when the backlash doesn't stop, you claim you're suicidal. You seem self-aware enough to know that you're not mentally equipped to handle the stress that results from these situations, so you really need to just stop putting yourself in them. If you cannot deal with comments, remove yourself from the discussions. You're not obligated to make any political and/or social commentary. If you do want to continue to do it, you have to find a way to reconcile your mental health with the fact that you will take a lot of heat for it. When this happens time and again, it really makes it look as though the mental health problems are a shield, because you've set up a situation where if people criticize you enough, you can claim they're killing you, as you said on a recent stream. Perhaps you don't do it on purpose, but this is very manipulative behavior. It makes it seem as though other people are responsible for your survival and mental well-being. I would like to think that you wouldn't knowingly do something like that, but when you acknowledge yourself that you were actually going to harm yourself, or that if you were going to actually harm yourself, you'd just quietly disappear, leave nothing but a goodbye video, it makes it look like you know that threatening suicide will pull at the heartstrings of those who do care. The problem with this is that the people who would care if something happened to you are the ones who are your biggest supporters, not your detractors. The people who genuinely hate you, which there aren't as many as you seem to think, wouldn't care about that. So the only thing you're doing when you make those threats are hurting people who care. You have an overwhelming amount of support. You are far luckier than many people who struggle with depression and suicidal thoughts, because you have a following that cares and seems to want you to succeed. Don't take that for granted, and don't take advantage of it, because eventually that will kill your channel when people start to realize this is an endless cycle. Stop apologizing. You didn't say anything wrong on that podcast, and you are entitled to have your own thoughts and opinions. Stop focusing so much on the bad comments. Stop name searching yourself. Stop reading forums about you, and take a break from Twitter. Now, when I screenshotted this, it has 498 upvotes, and the replies to this are mostly in agreement. These are fans. Now, look, I'm not saying that I'm automatically correct simply because fans are agreeing with me. But what I am saying is this guy was arguing that I was perhaps jealous of Boogie. Then that, the only way I could be disagreeing with him was jealousy or views, that I'm attacking him. But my point here is that his own fans are saying this. And this one from this Cody person really kind of struck me. basically sums up literally everything I've been thinking and saying for the past few months. He always does this shit, and it is getting very old very fast. Do I think he's going to quit? Absolutely not. The only people Boogie bothers to listen to are the people who disagree with him and cause him his distress in the first place. Very good point. As viewers, we're always the first to get shit from Boogie and the last people he relies on for help. At this point, we're basically being held hostage when he tells us, if you stop watching me, I'm going to end it all. I know Boogie has been through a lot in his past, but he is quickly becoming one of the people I despise the most. A manipulator, pity enthusiast, and a backpedaler. And then the rest of them are, you know, not too much of substance. They're basically just agreement, which, you know, again, I'm not saying that makes me correct, but I am saying that even people that like him are seeing this as a problem. And I think the more that these people kind of suck up to him, the more it enables the behavior. The more they think that it's okay, the more Boogie thinks it's okay to do this over and over again because he has people to support him no matter what happens. I'm not saying people have to be cruel, but I think at some point you have to put your foot down. All right, let me just check out the chat here real quick. Scratch point on point, thank you. Nobody would care because he pulled the card too much. Exactly. Yeah, I mean, if you keep using your past as a shield from everything, eventually people are just going to get sick of it. You're going to drive them away. It's actually trying to help, not just laughing his ass because of knowing it enables him. Big fucking Baby X, super nice and bland as cover. Yeah, it's kind of an insane situation. People just think that because someone acts nice, it automatically makes him, you know, in a good spot, that he can't be wrong, that he shouldn't be criticized. And that's not the way this works, okay? I mean, a lot of us have terrible things that have happened in our lives, and at some point terrible things happen to all of us. We don't all just pull that up and say, well, you know, something bad happened to me, therefore you can't criticize me. You know, the two things are completely unrelated. Childhood sucked. Okay, you know, that's sad, it blows, but it's over now. You have a successful YouTube channel where you basically make a living talking about whatever you want. You have people that listen to you complain about your life. Most of the... I just want to say that I've had friends that don't even give a fuck about that. So to think that you have random strangers that care and you're just going to fuck with them like this, that's mind-blowing to me. Mind-blowing. We're gonna go back to the video now. There's only 6 minutes left.
Now, the events surrounding the H3 podcast and the later Twitch streams of June 28th, 2018 are issues which can be logically explained because people, as I said, try to force him to take sides even though he's a non-debating channel, and in response to Boogie2988's opinions, people called a welfare check because, you know, he's very much someone with a history of depression, and
they called the welfare check because he legitimately threatened suicide to somebody that he was arguing with on Twitter in a private message. That's why. They took it seriously. They thought, hey, maybe I don't like this person, but I'm at least going to call the cops or call whatever to get this man checked out.
This happened while he was going on a date with a woman in his house. And he was not really angry. If you look at the podcast, or I mean the Twitch stream, he was just frustrated and, you know, venting his opinion on these things. And he might have thought that people were being jerks to him, which people were.
Okay, yes, some people probably were. Some of the people that thought that he was, you know, kind of enabling homophobia or whatever by not saying gay rights should have just been thrown at everyone. Those people are insane. They're ridiculous. Why do you care what they say?
But You know, if you were to have a date with a woman and someone suddenly calls the cops on you and no one...
Well, here's a better question. If you are having a date at your home, why are you telling people in private messages that you're going to kill yourself? What are you just going to have the date over and be like, "Hey, I know we were going to sit down and watch some Netflix, but instead I'm going to blow my brains out. Care to watch?" No, that's not going to happen. So, to me, now look, I can't say for sure that he was making these threats during the date, but to me that just proves more that he wasn't actually going to hurt himself. And I've linked it in the description of this video, but let me just grab the link to that real quick in case people... Oh no, it's not. It's in the other video. We'll go to it later. We'll go back to this for now.
Knowing that you had a history with depression, so that the cops would go to your house, check up on you, with the paramedics in the fire truck, in the middle of the day. What would happen is you would probably be angry too. In fact, you might be livid, and Boogie2988 actually gave a opinion which was not so livid or angry, because he speaks a lot as a voice of reason, even though he a lot of times is influenced by his mental health issues.
I guess my question would be, and not that you can't take somebody seriously on anything they say simply because they have mental health issues, but the thing is every time, or at least in this situation, when he shared those opinions, he's pulling that, "Oh, I was disassociating, I didn't know what I was saying." So how can you take anything he says seriously? Because you don't know when he's going to say, "Oh, I was disassociating, therefore what I said, it wasn't my fault." And again, I don't even think he needed to make that excuse because he didn't say anything crazy. The people responding to him are the crazy ones.
And people who do stuff like that, like, I'm not really sure the person's intention, because I was able to look at the stuff myself, and Boogie2988 said it was already resolved, but I think people who do stuff like that really don't deserve a lot of respect. And, you know, it's a sad thing that Scratch Point and people like him would...
So the Scratch Point and people like him, I'm curious what kind of person I'm like, considering that this is probably the only... at this point, this was the only video that he saw of mine. Not that you could even really... Well, I guess you could. But it's just crazy to me that, you know, right away it's just like, well, you're criticizing somebody I like, therefore you're in the box with these guys.
Assume any type of ill intent by Boogie2988.
I would also argue it wasn't just an assumption, because I provided backing in his own words that demonstrated that he himself knew that his threats were false. And I'm gonna do this right now. I just want you guys to listen to this quote.
But anyway,
it's at 2:38, I believe. I don't know why. We'll go.
I just went through a divorce. I just went through gastric bypass surgery.
Here we go.
If I haven't harmed myself yet, I'm not going to.
If I haven't harmed myself yet, I'm not going to. Straight from his own mouth. After that whole thing about, oh, I'm feeling suicidal, oh, I'm going to commit suicide. Oh yeah, guys, by the way, I'm not going to hurt myself. Now you can say that maybe he's just saying this to cover up his true plans or something of that nature, but at what point do you take the word seriously? I mean, if you're going to pull that card, why do I have to take his other points, you know, seriously? Let's see. I'm just checking out the chat here, guys. If I have a son, I'll show him Boogie Vids and say be the opposite. The cringe, oh, the cringe. I'd be happy that somebody cared enough about me to do that. Yeah, and like I said in the video, you know, the clips that I used, it showed that he wasn't grateful. He was saying, well, that's for your self-satisfaction. It's not going to help me. So what is going to help him? Boogie's super lucky he even has a big following, but for how long? Yeah, like I said, the act is getting old, and whether or not you believe it's an act or genuine, it's still getting old to people. He acts like he has zero agency on a loser fuck weaponized suicide. Yeah, that's the problem. I hate it. This is going to be ironic, but I hate it when people just label things as haters instead of, in maybe engaging with the idea and saying, hey, I like this person, but maybe there's a point here.
Because in my comment on the video that Scratchpoint made, he showed a lack of willingness to admit that other opinions may be correct or may not be correct. And he acted with a lot of brashness instead of being capable of listening to others. This shows that his point in creating such a video was not at all any good, but either that he wanted to attack Boogie2988 for some reason, whether it be jealousy or something else.
There it is. There it is. The ever classic, you're just jealous. The only reason you could possibly be talking about something that somebody with a large fan base said is you're obviously jealous of them. Look, I don't want to be cruel, but I would never wish myself in his position. I don't care about the fame or money that comes along with it. I would never do that. That it doesn't seem worth it to me. And obviously it isn't worth it to him because he's not happy enough to even appreciate it. So no, as shitty as I think my own situation may be sometimes, no, I would never be jealous of Boogie. I don't think I'm not saying that makes me a superior person or anything of the sort, but no, jealousy is not my motivation here. I think that showing people that people need to be accountable for their own actions regardless of how much you like them, holding people to a standard of accountability is important. And I also would like to talk about this claim at the beginning of this statement where he said that I acted with brashness and I showed an unwillingness to listen to other opinions. So let's go to the screenshots of his comments on my video, and I'll show you how he approached my video. Here's the very first encounter. You'll expect a video response for being a prick who uses sophistry to demonize people who have a lot more success than you do. And, being the smartass that I am, when somebody approaches me in such a manner, I said, so by your own logic, you'll be making a response to demonize someone more successful than you. And he says, no, but to refute your claims against Boogie. And I said, see why you shouldn't use popularity as an argument? You come in here talking about sophistry, but then follow it up by attributing motive. If you want to talk about fallacious arguments, you should probably live up to your own standard. Now I said, no, you're using not only, I think it's tu quo que, but a false one at that. It's no surprise you'd make a slanderous video, then come up with lame counters, but my script for a reply video is being worked on soon. So I replied, here's what you're missing. I don't care about your ability to list off fallacies as though it automatically makes you correct. My point is that I do not care about the opinion of an individual that doesn't live up to his own standard of argumentation. You attempted to use success as an argument, and that backfired for you on the basis that my channel is more popular than yours. Do I think that matters? No, but apparently you do. So if you want that argument to hold any water, you should have a more popular channel, or else you can just as easily be written off as someone jealous of an arbitrary metric of success. And then somebody had already said I made a slanderous video, so when I replied here, I said, another person that doesn't know the definition of slander. It's not slander if it is true, and in accordance with Boogie's own words in the clips, it is true that he is aware of what he's doing and even laid out a plan for all to hear when he is truly suicidal. Pretentious assholes like you are the worst. You're not a philosopher. You're a wannabe intellectual, too far up your own ass to see your mistakes. So then the reply that I got there was, and you use insults to make up for your lack of ability to handle criticism whilst giving it. Can I just refer you back to the opening comment here? Being a prick? Being a prick? Is that not an insult? Am I crazy? Am I losing my mind here? this is why I can't stand it when people argue like this, when they come at you hard, right? And then you kind of give it back. And then they want to pull the, well, you're just insulting me, so you don't have an argument. Well, it's like, okay, what do you call those 2 or 3 paragraphs prior to my insult? You realize that an insult doesn't necessarily invalidate an argument. I'm not saying you're wrong because you're stupid. I'm saying I explained why you're wrong, and then in the process, I called you an asshole. So to just ignore that simply because I said asshole is disingenuous. You know, a good insult is like seasonings. You got to sprinkle just the right amount here and there. Just pepper it in. Or else it's too much and it spoils the whole thing. But in this case, I used just the right amount. Just the right amount. Anyway, continuing on. The argument does hold water, since this is literally the only video of yours I watched, and your video is filthy and full of slander. I explicitly said my goal, which is to defend Boogie, and that is obvious. If you cannot handle criticism, do not give it. So I said, you can't handle criticism, hones in on an insult to avoid the actual criticism. I said, you didn't leave a criticism, you made a faulty accusation and attributed a motive to it, which, if you didn't realize, is an attempt to denigrate my character, rather than anything within the actual video. If you can't handle criticism, don't poorly attempt to give it. Certainly you must know your whole video is nothing but slander. Even the title shows this as a fact. And even your complaint that Boogie doesn't take a side is bogus. He isn't a debating channel. He's a comedian who does video updates on his physical and psychological health, the very psychological health you assail with the 9 minute and 14 seconds of bullshit. Oh, total bullshit. My bad. You obviously don't know what slander means. We've already gone over how and why it doesn't qualify as slander. You haven't proven it's bullshit. You asserted it. There is no claim that he's a debate channel. It's that if he knows he cannot handle the stress of taking part in the backlash that can result from political and or social commentary, he should refrain from doing so. And then this was the end of our interaction, but after that, I left a link to the video clip of Boogie that I showed you guys earlier where he said, if I haven't harmed myself by now, I won't. Let me check on the chat here. Okay. Missed quite a bit. It's hard to get that much subs. I only have 30. Yeah, it is hard to grow a channel. I mean, I've had my troubles with it. Lesson here is that if you're going to plan a response video, write a script. He got it. Oh, he got big in all the wrong ways. He's the biggest pity whore. Well, I agree with you. Why is it so important to put so much energy into this? It's not. I mean, it's a stream, dude. I don't think that it really takes that much effort or energy to stream for a couple hours when I'm, you know, something I do anyway. I'm not saying that, you know, you're right. I didn't even have to acknowledge this. And maybe according to some people I shouldn't have. But I will say that to an extent, and I've said this about comment sections as well, to an extent, I feel like I'm putting my opinion out there. And if I'm just kind of not willing at all to engage with any sort of response or criticism to that, I don't know, it just makes it feel a little bit like I'm kind of backing into a circle jerk. And maybe that's not accurate, because I've learned over time that when videos get larger, you know, it's not easy to engage with everybody that has a criticism. So you kind of have to be selective about it. Now, I did reply to quite a few comments in the comment section of my video, which you can, you know, see for yourselves. Nobody else really seemed that interested in talking. I did ask, I think, 1 or 2 other people, and they didn't respond to it, basically. Are you secretly hard bastard? I don't think so. You better be getting crazy, hook your pussy. A wild boogie appeared. Pokemon music plays. Say he gets most of his toys and shit for free to show them. Yeah, I think he has quite a few sponsorships. You can't win arguments with stupid people. Well, look, obviously you can't, you know, there are some people that are never going to be convinced no matter what you say, and that's fine. Doxing yourself? Oh, did I? Arguing with autists? Jeez. Think Boogie's a narcissist? I mean, it's possible. He seems like he's addicted. At the very least, it seems like he's addicted to pity. You know, maybe it's because... I don't want to get too psychological here, but maybe it's because, you know, maybe it's an affection thing. Maybe, you know, he feels like he had a crappy childhood. Nobody really cared about him. And I think his relationship with his mother messed him up. So maybe he uses the fan base to kind of, you know, fill the void of whatever it is he's going through. And I'm not, you know, I'm not putting him down necessarily, but at some point when you start to use those things as a weapon, and again, whether you realize that or not, whether you're aware of the fact that you're doing that or not, that's still wrong, and somebody needs to tell you that it's wrong. But it seems as though so many people just want to enable that and tell you instead that you're just being hateful. I don't hate the guy. I don't even know the guy. But I do, you know, I have followed him a little bit on social media, and I've seen some of his videos, and I see these patterns, and it's something that's going on online that people talk about. So I formulate an opinion and, you know, put it out there. I don't think that that's such a hard concept to grasp, or even a wrong one. A lot of people do things like that. He needs help, not money on YouTube. I mean, look, I think he sees a therapist, but I don't know what good it's doing. Therapy's a rough thing. Seems like it's hard to get anything good out of it. But let's finish up. There's really not much left here. I believe I covered most of what I wanted to. But let's see what happens.
And it's a very sad day to go when people go to great measures of coercion to get people on their sides. It is unjust to attack Boogie2988 as an emotional manipulator, because he is certainly not. He's a good man who, unfortunately...
Okay, so when I'm not... go to great measures of coercion? No. If you think that using someone's own words and talking about those things is coercing someone into an opinion, then maybe the person that said those things should have explained themselves better. I mean, if your own words are digging the hole, you probably said something wrong. Not always true, but sometimes. And the whole... Look, I feel like it's very weird that we get to this point that people just assume that because there's a persona on camera, that that's who that person always is, and that they're a good person. We don't know. You might be able to say that he's done good things. I'm sure he's done good things in his life. I think he recently sent some disabled girl on a trip somewhere, which is great. That's nice, you know, but at the same time, that doesn't mean that he can never do anything wrong and can never be criticized as a result. I don't know what's going on, but... subscription. Thank you, Zerafu. But, look, I mean, again, I feel like it's... And I don't want to accuse everybody blanketly, but I feel as though there's a lot of this... fan base tribalism where somebody's very well liked and very popular, and as a result, anytime somebody has an opinion that runs contrary to that, it automatically gets written off as hatred, whether or not it really constitutes being hateful. And I don't think, in all honesty, that my video, my opinion, was anywhere near hateful. Now, if I wanted to be hard on him, if I wanted to be a cruel person, I could have said far worse, far worse than I did. But I didn't. I just, you know, took what I saw in front of me and shared a perspective. And the insults in the video are even minimal. I think the worst thing I said about him was that he was a fence sitter and that it appeared his only talent was getting pity. Which, yeah, you could qualify those as insults. But again, like a good seasoning, a little sprinkle of an insult here and there within the argument never did anyone wrong. Now, of course, people will just point to those things and say, you know, try to ignore the rest of the argument. So maybe I could avoid that, but no, I'm not willing to censor myself just because some people might get offended by something I said. And I feel as though those who are going to try to demonize you are going to do so regardless of how pretty your words are. You know, there are some people that just, they see this, they disagree because you're speaking against someone they like, and they don't want to see your point. And that's fine. You know, not everybody has to. Not everybody has to agree. But I just kind of feel like when it comes to these situations, that there are very few honest criticisms. There are very few people that will engage with the actual opinion put forth and will instead try to just attribute all these labels. You're hateful, you're a hater, you know, you're just trying to do this, you're just trying to get views, which again is one of the dumbest arguments. I mean, how in the world? Later, Jared, thank you for stopping by. I can't stand when people make those kind of stupid blanket defenses of you're just trying to get views. I mean, we're on a video making platform. We're on a streaming platform. What else? I mean, a big part of that is having an audience. Now, I think that you can make certain content that is disingenuous that will kind of just draw in a viewership. Winter Fresh, thank you for stopping by. Yeah, the stream will be left up. Don't worry about that. Anyway, there's like 2 minutes left of this, but I don't think any of it really covers what I said. So we'll just go on.
Is out there to be attacked by many just because he has an opinion. People share their opinions all the time, and for some reason, opinions seem to be hated like the plague in this day and age. Granted,
I mean, that's pretty ironic, right? Like if you go to the comment section of my video, there are a bunch of people attempting to shit on me because they don't like my opinion. So technically I could just say, well, opinions are hated like a plague in this day and age.
That opinions are weaker than ideas because ideas have backing knowledge. This is certainly a time which would stop the growth of ideas if opinions are assailed, and Boogie2988 is the type who creates ideas whenever he speaks, but he does not believe in debating. Is there something wrong with this? I hope you all have an...
Okay, at this point he just goes on to explain what video he's going to be working on next, which is completely irrelevant to anything that I had to say. So, Boogie is the type who creates ideas when he speaks, but he does not believe in debating. Is there something wrong with this? Well, first of all, I'm not sure that Boogie is an idea creator. He shares opinions much in the same way that anybody else does, but I don't think he's some profound philosophical figure. Remember, he's a gaming channel and an entertainment channel, so that's by your own words. But no, I don't care that he doesn't believe in debating. That's never been my position. I didn't even mention debate. There is no debate. A guy shared his opinion. He doesn't have to debate anybody. And what debate is there to be had anyway? Extremists basically just, you know, went crazy on him because he said that gay rights could have been implemented slower to prevent harm to people. Oh no, end of the world. Why does it even matter anyway? Now, look, I mean, say what you will about Boogie, but why would that even matter anyway? People already have gay rights. It's already a thing. So why does his opinion even mean a shit? I mean, they already have it. It's not like some YouTuber that makes gaming videos or mental health videos is going to have an effect on the nation's decision for gay rights. It makes no sense. People just get so crazy about these public figures. They think that their word is like God sent. And look, in some cases, I sort of understand why there's that perception, but it's your own faults. You're the ones giving credence to their ideas on the basis that they're popular. That's why I hate these stupid appeals to popularity. Stop with the sub count arguments. You have... Look, what does this guy have? He has 15 subscribers. Am I crapping on you because you have 15 subscribers? No. I don't care. Your subscriber count doesn't mean anything. Subscriber count does not matter, okay? In an argument, subscriber count doesn't matter. Now, look, I made a joke because, you know, he mentioned sub count or popularity. Throw it back at him, sure. But do I think that that's a valid point? No. And that's why it was to demonstrate that it's so easy to just flip those things around. Like, when I see the so-called anti-SJW crowd make these sub-count jokes or sub-count mockeries of people to kind of invalidate them, it's like, well, someone like Lacey Green has, what, 1 or 2 million subscribers, something like that? Does that mean her ideas are automatically valid just because she has a subscriber count? Of course not. If you don't think that's how it works, don't do it across the board. Well, that's the video. I mean, I think I've covered just about everything that I had to say. I don't think there's too much more. The other guy that wanted to join the stream, he never replied, so I can't, you know, there's not much I can do about that. I was prepared to run the gauntlet of Boogie fans, but in the end, it didn't even matter. So we'll see. Yeah, nobody's even online anymore. And I left a, I did leave a comment about an hour prior to the show. So is this channel like a second tier Alfred? I mean, if that's what you want to call it, I don't know. I think it's just, I make videos sometimes, I do streams. It's a combination. I don't know how you qualify second tier. Is that like a popularity argument too? His actions speak for themselves. That's all there is to it. Agreed. You know, I think that people are going to see through it. That's what's happening. Do you think he would ever shut his channel? I mean, he claims that he would delete his content and leave a goodbye video if he would seriously commit suicide. So, I mean, look, I don't know if that's just more dramatic posturing or if that's the truth, but I guess anything's possible. I think people are just kind of assuming, like, that I had this malice, this ill intent in making the video, that I kind of just wanted to bash him for the sake of doing so. Not really the case. To Boogie's credit, he's a remarkable salesman that knows how to move his product well. He's a purveyor of pity, a salesman of sadness, and a big box department store of depression. That was a very well put comment. I like that. It's hilarious, actually. Yeah, I mean, I guess you do have to give him some credit there, right? I just think that the whole somebody acts nice, therefore they are good is a little bit short-sighted. I mean, isn't there some sort of saying about good intentions and all that? I mean, look, that's part of manipulation too, is, you know, portraying yourself in a light that will make you well liked and kind of slipping that behavior in so that people don't even realize what's happening to them. That's how you get manipulated. If it was right out in the open, you know, for people to just realize, then nobody would ever get tricked. Mint. I get that reference. All right. Well, I think that we have run our course for this show. It got a little bit of a slow start because of the whole technical difficulty thing. I kind of wish that I could. Well, maybe you can cut that out somehow. It seems like silly. I'll probably just timestamp in the comment section to when things actually get started. The true good boy of YouTube is Philly D. Okay. I don't know about that. I don't think there is a good boy of YouTube. Well, I wish this turned out a little bit better than it did, but at least we still had a show. I guess better luck next time. Seems like I can never get seems like I can never get my guests to, stick to a schedule and actually make it on. There's always some kind of issue. Huge difference between niceness and sincereness. Agreed, yeah. Dr. Koala, you're welcome. Glad you enjoyed it. You cut it out via creative. Yeah, I thought I could. All right. Well, I appreciate you guys. Appreciate the super chat. If the guy that sent that is still here, I did thank him earlier, but thank you again. And I don't know when the next show is going to be. I'll try to put out a notification, like I said, like a day or 12 hours in advance when I know I'm going to do something. So thank you everybody for watching, and we will see you next stream. Hope everybody has a good evening.